This is the one I did in the beginning. So let's go into, I have the PowerPoint and then the note taker here. So for the first day, I started off with the PowerPoint. So like an intro to science PowerPoint, kind of looking at what the scientists do. And it was just a good way to getting them um to like in like for me, like the reason I decided to use observation as the first week, because to me, like the first thing I like that got me into science or like, is what I saw, you know, like if I saw something really cool, I was like, oh man, this is awesome. Um, so, so that's the reason, like, that was like my first thing, like to focus on was like observation skills. So you see something cool that gets you to like want to learn more about it. So that was my main criteria in that first week. Not only was getting them to like use the tools, identify what those tools are, but this main part here is make observation, ask questions about it, and connect with it. So why are they learning this? So this is all part of like what we have to do um in our lesson plan is, like, hey, why are you learning this? It's to build the awareness. And then this is what we did. So we started with the lecture um on the first day. And then the second day I did the blind contour drawing. So some of my classes were a little different where I had to do it the next day. Um, So like lecture was just all one day. The blind contour drawing and river water sample. For some classes, I was able to do it all in one. And some classes I was not. So like I had to like split it. Like one day just contour drawing and the next day river water sample. But this is the lecture here. Um, and then I have just the note taker to go with it. But just kind of looking at, hey, this is the phenomenon. These are all the components and so on. Mhm. But the PowerPoint just goes through step by step what we're doing. But so for the activity, I do need to modify this one. This is the one um when I had them look at the river water sample, I had them like ask question about it. What does it remind them of? What was interesting is a lot of the students did well at like what it remind them of. And then the questions is the one where they had trouble with like, I don't know what to ask. Yeah, so some now like, oh, well, like, why does this thing move or things like that. And for the observation with the river water sample, wasn't really like a lot for them to look at. So their drawing wasn't like so cool. So I added to that. Um, so this one I have to like modify. So basically on that day, I had them go outside and pick anything that they wanted to look at under a microscope. And so they love that because like, power of choice. So they grabbed whatever they want. They had 5 minutes. And they brought it in. And then that's where like the excitement came in. It was like, they're like, oh, this is cool. And you can hear them just like chatting and they'll like shout out to me like, oh miss, this is so cool and things like that. So and the pictures that they drew came out really good. So I had them still do the same thing, look at 4x, 10x, and 40x, and then answer these questions here. But this went well. And then I did the blind contour drawing too. So blind contour drawing, they had to just pick an object. They went outside for my sophomores. For my freshmen, I already had something, and I just had them like, practice doing the drawing. And then this just lead into my next thing that I did, which I do want to include as part of this unit here, is the qualitative quantitative observation. Because with that, that's when they had their drawing. So like I had them decide to do their like so instead of blind contour drawing, I just told them just to do contour drawing. So some of them would just put the image the plant on top and they would draw it that way. But they really got into detail and then they would describe it. And then also do the what you wonder as well. And what was interesting is like every student, even the ones that were like in the beginning, they were like, "Oh, Miss, I can't draw. Like, Miss, I don't think I can do this." Everybody was able to do it. And like it came out, they were really good artists. Like,
Those came out good.
they were like, "Miss, I don't know how to draw," and this is what they got. So I'm like, that was what was really interesting to me. It was like everybody was able to do it. I even like had one student who for a while would just sit there and not do anything. Um, and then later he just like decided to like just pick up a pencil and just started doing it. And so another student grab a pencil and like put it on his desk and like a few minutes later he decided to do it. and then it came out really good. Um so this this project I do want to include on there. So it's all in that whole qualitative and quantitative observation unit. And yeah, that's my interest in science.